In the lush rolling hills of Kiambu, specifically Gatundu North, grassroots women have long been the backbone of tea and coffee farming industry. Every day, these women rise early to pick the delicate tea leaves, their hands working tirelessly to fill bag after bag.
I'm an independent scholar who worked for many years at the University of Nairobi and at Holyoke College as a visiting lecturer, and has been an activist in residence at Holyoke University. My main research focuses on grassroots communities, especially women who work in market trade, who work in agriculture, in fishing, and in keeping animals. My role has been to amplify the voices of these women through my writings, the recognitions of their role in society. They contribute the food we eat, they keep our cities clean, they take care of our babies, and they ensure we have food on the table. My role during this session is to speak about one world, many voices, women shaping a global future. The purpose of this documentary is to amplify the role of women who are coffee, tea pickers in small-scale enterprise in Gatundu North. I regard these women as the last colony. I want them to be recognized, to receive better payments for their coffee and for their tea, and to be recognized by the world that without them we cannot have coffee, and without them we cannot have a global future that regards everyone as equal.
For the older women in the community, the situation is even more dire. They are victims of both international capitalism, which profits from their work, and a patriarchal society that has long ignored their rights and voices. These women have been shaped by generations of exploitation. Their stories of resilience often overlooked in the broader narrative of economic growth and development.
I started na nigucimba na gucoka kurima na gucoka kuhanda rini aidiguite tondu nani ndikiri ndagithii no nie mutumia ucio ona hau ri twanyitanire ote ni ario kairitu kanini tugituraga onako ngikarera naniga riu ni kararera riu koguo horo wana kuu mbere ndingimenya wa ma director ngimarihaga 250 kuma rucini gikari gioka tene ri makoimira nä rä rä nä å rä mi å cio rä wega kå kä rä a batiä rä ä tingähota kå rå gamä rä ra gå kå ni tondå ti mbia njega no nä tå kä hinyagä rä ria ho nä getha tå tigakä mate one.
Yet for each bag of tea they pick, they are paid only 5 Kenya shillings, an amount that barely covers their daily needs. The best quality tea, carefully packed and processed, is shipped abroad, bringing in revenue that never reaches the hands of those who do the hard work. The local market, however, is left with tea deemed of lesser quality, another stark reminder of the inequality in the system. Despite their tireless efforts, the monthly payment from the tea farming industry are not enough. To make ends meet, these women often turn to casual employment, seeking extra work just to survive.
Wana wahanda gicani ri kianina mwaka umwe na nuthu ri rigiti gukineneha mwaka na nuthu matikomagio riu unagira haha iguru nona ugathie unite turia tuothe tucutite ta maya mathangu mau maumirite mothe uthie utuite no coke uni o hanini niguo riu wetereria kinya hau ri riu tigukianjia kuma ugituaga tugagitwara ha center ino tugakiendia twendia turarutwo riu kunia gramu 5 magagithie itinga mathiĩ rĩ mambaga kũingĩra GL gĩkĩambaga gũkinya magacoka magathiĩ makaingĩra mũkonge magatwarwo macini ĩngĩ ĩtagwo rotafin rĩu maingĩra hau rĩ magacoka rĩu magathiĩ magagĩthĩo rĩu mathĩo rĩ rĩu tiguo magĩcokaga magathiĩ he macini ĩrĩa ĩcungaga ĩgacunga marĩa magũthiĩ mũrĩmo ĩgacunga maya tũrareherwo haha ũguo macani mothe thiĩ ĩcungĩte macini rĩu yagĩcunga tũgacoka ithuĩ tũtigĩcoka tũgakĩheo marĩa makĩendio thĩ cia mũrĩmo ũrĩa mendetio ithuĩ tiguo tũkĩheagwo mbia akorwo nĩ 30 tocio tũgũkĩamũkĩra no mũico wa mweri rĩ tũraheo 25.
Women working in coffee and tea picking, they don't have title to the coffee and the tea. The title is usually with the men who are given the title by the marketing boards. So when the payments come, it is the men who receive the payments, and sometimes there are stories that the men migrate into the sea once they are paid. This is just anecdotal information. Then the other thing is that women wait for months before payments are made. For example, when they submit the coffee in December, the payments don't come until July. The other limitations that these women have is that they don't have good technology. They have to rely on their hands to do manual work, to pick the tea and to pick the coffee. The other thing is that they lack infrastructure, in the sense that the buying centers have no infrastructure. They have to stand again, and these buying centers have no resting place, they have no water, and they have no good toilets. So the women work under very difficult conditions. The other thing is that the women have no insurance in their they will work until they are very old.
And to many of them, the cycle of debt never ends. They become perpetual debtors, owing money to banks and financial institutions that have little regard for their struggles.
Challenges iria tugeragera muno ithuĩ ta atumia rĩ nĩ gũkorwo nĩ ithuĩ tũbindaga ciana. Ona okorwo mũndũ nĩ akĩgeragia wathiĩ thikũ ũkarĩhwo ũkagũrĩra ciana mũtu rĩ itingĩigana mũtu na cigane gũthomithia ciana. Ĩyo nayo challenge ĩrĩa tũkoragwo nayo nene, tondũ ona twatua macani athuri mathiaga makoya marũni tũkahana ta twatuĩkire ngombo cia kũrĩha marũni mau. Ĩyo nĩyo challenge ĩrĩa tũkoragwo nayo nene. Rĩu twageria kũgaya thikũ ĩno rĩ ya twarĩhwo rĩ ĩkarega kũgaĩka. Twageria kũgaya mbeca ici nĩgetha cigane kũrĩo nĩ ciana itingĩigana ũtagĩkorwo wĩ handũ ũrainvest ũraigithia. Ũcio nĩ thĩna ũmwe. Thĩna ũngĩ okorwo nĩ macani ta maya nĩ marathiĩ ũgakora ndĩmarwarire kana mĩeri ĩrĩa ĩtarĩ na mbura, ona kĩhari kĩu nĩ kĩraga, ona ciana igathiĩ na mbere na kũhũta, tondũ rĩngĩ ũgũthiĩ thikũ 2 kiumia na mbeca ici nĩcio twĩhokete cia macani, tũkaremwo nĩ kũbindi ciana. No tũririe kana no hoke ũndũ ũngĩ tondũ athuri mũno nĩo mathuragwo, tondũ ta rĩu niĩ wakwa nĩ mũtongoria, ona nĩkĩo ndĩna karenda ta ĩyo, wakwa nĩ mũtongoria. Ona magĩtũtongoragia gwĩ kũndũ tũtahotaga gwĩka atĩ nĩwe mathiĩ kũrĩa mahe ũhoro moka matũkinyĩria onokorwo no agũtũhinyĩrĩria gwĩtĩkĩra, tondũ nĩ twagĩtĩkĩrio gũtuĩka ngombo ciao. Mũgũnda wa macani ndũngĩhota gũkombora ũhande, tondũ no ũcokire ũkaũgũra. Rĩu tondũ mathiaga mĩaka 3 magĩkaigana matuo rĩ wacoka wagikombora ri ukombora miaka igana tikaba ukigura mugunda ucio ni kuigua tuigua no ititukinyagira ni kuigua tuigua ni ciarekererio mbeca cia arimi ni gutire handu tuona mbia ta icio ningi ona ingirekererio na wena roni ri ni roni ukurengwo kana ni gukinywo ni mbeca icio citeithie mwana maya nginya guthomithia tuteithagio ni magana mau meri turihagwo no ti ati ni muico wa mweri mbia icio girirwo cie kiundu.
However, in the face of adversity, the women have formed solidarity networks known as chamas, informal groups where they save, lend and borrow from each other, relying on one another for support and survival. These chamas become a lifeline, a rare form of financial stability in an otherwise unstable world.
No tuga ni igiteithagiriria o haria ire iteithiriria muira one ciringi mwena ungi okorwo ni mikorobia teno aguri moko kendia no icani ritingibindi na rithomithie mwana tuaga mbeca mwena ungi okorwo ni makurubu-ini wathukuma magana maya meri ugathi ukaigithia handu ukoya 10,000 ukahota gutwara thukuru.
During this coffee time, when you're picking the coffee, there are a lot of challenges and struggles in order for this berry to reach the factory. For example, now I have the digging, and this within a few minutes because I don't have enough money to buy the herbicide. I have to use my manual work to dig. I also have to come and spray for them to get good berries and healthy ones. I don't have enough money to buy the herbicides. So at times you find that is why the coffee is not producing this. And then another challenge is there are some pests like here. They come and attack the coffee and is not producing well. Then there are other challenges that you don't have enough money to hire cashew workers. So I get tired, and at times the coffee is spoiled in the garden because I don't have enough money to employ the cashew laborers. And then another challenge I have is after I picked these berries, I take them to the factory, they are at Kiambu, and now since I'm picking it in December, I will be paid in July. Apart from those challenges in coffee, we also get time to come togetherness with my neighbors. At times we come together, we share as we are picking the coffee, we socialize with one another. If mine during the peak season is a lot of coffee, I ask Mama Kamau down here to come and we stay together sharing and talking about the social life and also political life in the country. We have also educated my children up. We have 2 children who have attained their degree education through this coffee picking. Although I get a lot of struggle, but still I see I have something. There is a greener pasture on there that I can say that the coffee has done for me.
Atumia gukureka ngwe ungiingira micii maikarite thi nyumba ni maguru ko arthritis gutura wanyita na homa nyingi guku gitu ni niguo kwa kuimba maguru na guturwo ni githuri ndia kwira macani uria magituonetie thina haha niwe athuri mbeca cia kinya cia mwico wa mweri na bonus athuri niwe ni mendete macohi muno magithie kirabu niguo mundu akanywa mbeca ciothe ni gukombithagio mbia mabengi agacoka okuo agakomba iria arakienda agikomba ri turi aranyure twa mweri na bonus ri agacoka agakomba ingi ningi icio ingi ciothe agatwara kundu kuu riu ithu atumia guku riu ni sacrifice no urute wira uria ukumenya nigetha uthomithie ciana no riu atumia ri no ni magithomithagia na ni mekaga maundu maingi muno.
The other thing they face is poor roads. You see that the roads are poor, they have no running water in their homes, they have no health facilities close to where they live, they have no health facilities close to where they live, they have no health insurance, and they work for long hours, and this brings diseases like back pains, knee pains, which affect their livelihoods. The other thing is that they don't have housemaids or daycares in the villages where they can leave their children. Some have to bring their children into the farm. This was for the ordinary woman in Kenya in the global economy. What role she plays in the global economy, being a supplier of labor, being a supplier of workers. So in this economy, the women use networks to survive. The media can amplify the role of women in grassroots. The media is focused on the women elite. It's focused on neoliberal feminism. It's not focused on grassroots feminism. That's why the media should shift its stories and tell the stories of grassroots feminism. For example, it tells us about women in corporate, women in government, but it really never talks about women in the grassroots. So to amplify this, the media needs to shift its narrative towards the grassroots woman.
Nere ni urimi ucio ri wega kuhe kiria batie ri itingihota kurugamirira guku ni tondu ti mbia njega no ni tukihinyagiriria ho nigetha tutigakimate aca ndihotaga tondu githiru kwa ni handite marigu riu no mandeithiririe nigetha marigu macio ri makandeithiriria tondu matingihota riu ndui nio magituaga cio monire kuu mugunda riu no matua kiria matua ri ngayuka ngakimariha kiria mandigiria maigaga atiriri ni magiaga atheratic ya maguru ni undu wa heho mathi kuo ni undu ringi ndui mathia tene o gikari kiu ni kiroka ri magagithie tene.
The positive changes I foresee is if the conditions of women tea pickers and coffee pickers are amplified and dignity restored to their jobs, to help them design their career paths in coffee and tea picking. As long as we amplify the neoliberal feminists at the expense of grassroots feminist concerns, the future is limited for grassroots women tea pickers in Kiambu and coffee pickers. So my feeling is that it's high time we moved from neoliberal feminism to work with grassroots feminist ideals and look for working conditions, dignity, and self-sufficiency in their job, in their kind of jobs.
I can say that the coffee has done for me. I also am, at least when the blood treatment money comes, I'm able to pay some of my bills. And also I'm able to take care of our elderly parents who gave us and supported us with this coffee. That is where we are living. So I can also say thank you to my parents for giving us this piece of coffee to do and to be picking so that I can take care of my children.
The production of coffee depends on the variety one is taking care of. For example, this is Rojo 11. The production of it is very high compared to Arabica and the rest. The maturity is also quicker and it ripens. The color ripens faster than the other one. And it is easy to pick because of the height. Even the children can help, not like the other tall varieties It is also disease resistant. One can take care of it because you need not to spray, you need not to only take to take care of it using manure and maybe the recommended fertilizers. Disease resistant, one needs not to spray. One can easily take care of it because it does not get the height of the other coffee varieties. Even a child can help someone to do the picking. It's doing well.
Another challenge that we have the youth. The youth, after educating them, they are preferring to go to town to look for white-collar jobs. And they have refused to take care of the coffee. So in future, we'll get a problem of knowing who will be picking the coffee because them, they're just looking for white-collar jobs. Even somebody can just prefer to go to Hawking to look for white-collar jobs, to stay in town there. They don't want this dirt. So you find that this industry, at the end of the day, we are just left as the old people to take care of the coffee. And later on, we find that we'll not be able to go to do the coffee or to pick the coffee because we are aging. Another problem that we have is about the land fragmentation. Here you find that the old man comes and divide the land to his sons, and then the land becomes too small. Some don't want to plant the coffee, some just want to do horticulture. Another problem that we don't have the extension officers. We do not know, since we are old, we let us say we are analog, we do not know the new farming methods. We don't have the agricultural officers who come and guide us and show us about the new methods we are going to use in order to help us to have good coffee production. Since I do not have a lot of money, I'm using money on education, I do not know where to go and get the credit facilities. If I go to the bank, their interests are so high that even after picking this coffee, I will not be able to repay back the interest. So if we can get better credit facilities whereby we can get cheap loans or soft loans whereby we can be able to pay. Now you see here, I have dug there and I've come here to pick the coffee. I know I'm the one to know when the coffee is being sprayed, when it's being applied fertilizer, but then the land belongs to the mzee. Now, when I pick and take it to the coffee, the money goes to his account. And maybe after the money is paid, he may decide to change his environment and decide that he goes to town. So we women here, we are left in the shamba, just traveling without money, and our husbands have gone to town to go and spend there.
Hii ni nini? Hizi mabanki kama wanaweza jua masinda yenye inapitia kwa wanawake juu ya majani, wangetufanya kutufurahisha juu wazee wanajificha, wanaenda wanachukua malon, wanachukua pesa zote wakakunyia kwa vilabu.
My proposal is that women should be more proactive. They are already resilient, but they should know that when elections are taking place, they should not be bought with money. They need to front their own women to stand up for elections in the tea and coffee boards. If they front their women and in the coffee and tea boards, these women will speak their word. But you find that the people who are elected in these positions are usually men who come from the urban centers, and once they are voted in, they move out and go back to the city. They come from Thika, they come from Gatundu, they come from Nairobi and all these places, and once they are voted in, they go back and the interests of women are not looked into. I remember in my own case, while we were picking, while I was picking coffee and tea, nobody really used to care about the facilities that we had, or even talk about issues. So if we can create positions where people can evolve from these positions of drudgery and neglect, then the women would benefit. So I see twinning as an important activity whereby we shall share ideas, we shall exchange notes, we shall recognize the labor that the women undergo. We'll meet together and dialogue. How can we better trade without extraction and without exploitation? That is the beginning point of the way I see as addressing policy, that we form global movements where we shall twin our schools, our churches, so that we can resolve the problem of extraction and exploitation. I see the father movement is the Utu Ubuntu. Utu means humanness and Ubuntu means solidarity. Utu means I am because you are, and because you are, therefore I am. This is the recognition that we are all connected and we belong to each other. It's the same principle expressed in the teachings of Christ, that we belong to one body and one soul. We break one bread and drink from the same cup of wine. So this interconnectedness and this linking and twinning will be built on a philosophy of love, a philosophy of crying together, a philosophy of sharing.
The women of Kiambu, especially those in tea farming, represent the silent strength of the agricultural sector. Their labor feeds the world, but their voices remain unheard. They continue to fight for a fairer share of the profits, for their rights and for the dignity they deserve.